In the early 2000s, I started to look at how I could tell the stories of World War II in greater depth than a 50-minute TV show would give me. I warmed up on individual topics such as D-Day, Dunkirk, Adolf Hitler, Pearl Harbor, etc. But I was also covering ground that had previously been produced, albeit telling stories in different ways. At the end of the day, there was a world war between 1939 and 1945. We have the footages, we have the pictures, we have the details and descriptions of events that took place, but the facts and indeed the fiction will always remain roughly the same. It can just be told in a different order. I was commissioned to make a series called the War Diaries, each an annual look at those 7 years, and the series was a big success on DVD at the time. At around the same period, I made Theatre of War, The Pacific, a 6-part series to cover in greater detail the specifics of the Pacific campaign. And with growing confidence, I decided to tackle a 12 times 1 hour chronological TV series called The World War II Archives. My transition to television from special interest video and DVD took place with this production. As a result of this growing portfolio of edits, writings, compositions, and yet more archive shopping, it dawned on me that in principle there were 24 by 3-month periods in the course of this catalogue in history, as near as needs be, from September 1939 and 1945. So the seed that had germinated in long-form archive storytelling, coupled by the seduction of challenging the great British TV series The World at War, which had stirred my soul with its rich tapestry of wordcraft, skilled presentation, and expensively rare colour archive back in the 1970s, I set about the ridiculously overwhelming task of producing 150,000 words to make World War II, Countdown to Victory, a complete timeline. To celebrate the 20th anniversary of the launch of this massive venture, we are re-releasing the original series completely as it was produced 2 decades ago, in all its black and white glory. Over the years, it generated about 100 million views, became hugely popular specifically in Brazil, and established me as a viable historic documentary maker, now with circa 5,000 titles under my belt. Updated, up-resed, colorized and corrected errors, it is of course out there as the call of duty and is now being translated into 10 different languages. But for those who prefer archive to remain in its original black and white format, for those who may remember this series on British TV and indeed all around the world to New Zealand and back, it is a historical reminder of the past, lest we forget, as well as being a tribute to how we made documentaries back in those days, with no AI, special effects, or video gimmicks. It is a simple recording of one of the most consequential and devastating periods of lost life in human history. Modern binge watchers will need to forgive the reminders and recap portions. It was, of course, produced to be transmitted over 24 weeks of terrestrial television, not binge-watched over a long weekend or holiday, as is the custom 20 years later. I hope it pleases your eye, your brain, and your memory, and at the risk of repeating myself, lest we forget. It was Mark Twain who allegedly said, "History never repeats itself, but sometimes it rhymes." As I write these words in the first week of January 2026, I am stunned by the players of the world who flaunt with the possibility of further conflicts on an epic scale, in pursuit of domination, oil, control, autocracy, and the potential destruction of democracy. At 67 years old, I pass the baton and hope the next generation of documentary makers can take my cause onwards after I slip off the end of my personal perch and move my words onwards as testimony to man's inhumanity to man. All the best, Liam Dale.